So, good morning. It's time for the Wednesday results in the Barclays Premier League. It's Thursday morning here in Thailand. Five matches to cover. I'm going to be as brief as possible. Let's start at the champions, Liverpool at home to Brighton. Mane still out injured. Allison replaced by Kelleher. He was apparently sick. And Firmino back in the starting line for Origi. For Brighton, they had Alsata in the side, Lallana on the bench playing against his old side. Early half chance for Salah, but he pushed it over. And then Brighton, they created a half chance after some good work by Mope. In fact, they were taking it to the champions. But there wasn't a lot to get too excited about in that first half. Goalless at the break. And certainly Liverpool just didn't seem to be able to get going. And on 56 minutes, it was not really a great surprise when Brighton took the lead. This was following a great crossfield pass to the far post. Burn, the wing back, a huge man, headed back across goal, and Al-Sati managed to scoop it home after colliding with Mope. But it was in the back of the net, and that was 1-0. Salah then had a shot wide a little bit after that, and Kelleher, though, had to be alert to thwart Gross, who hit a great shot, and then Trossard should have made it 2-0 for the visitors on 80, but Kelleher was up to it. It rather sort of fell apart really for Liverpool. They didn't really seem to get their mojo working, and it rather sort of tiptoed to the finish line with the idea that the comeback was always going to happen never materialised. So absolutely delighted. This is the first win at Anfield since 82 for Brighton. They'd beaten Liverpool by 1-0. So, second match up then, Turf Moor, Burnley at home to Man City. Man City are now top of the league. They've 12 games win streak, which is mightily impressive, it has to be said. Rotation as usual, but still no De Bruyne for City. Gundogan, who's been looking a star in his absence in midfield. But Mahrez was back in. For Burnley, they've got no Wood now, so the Wood-Barnes combination not available for them. Rodriguez in up with Vidra, and Gudmundsson was selected to strengthen things in midfield. It didn't do much good though. 3 minutes on the clock, and attacking City ball came across to the left on the edge, just inside the box, and Bernardo Silva hit a vicious shot, which Pope managed to get hands to, but he only managed to push it into the region where Jesus was standing, and he nodded it in, and that was 1-0. From there on, Pope was very, very busy, it has to be said, and we saw nothing really of Burnley. 38 minutes, though, that man Gundogan got to the byline, and he managed to find Sterling, who was poaching in the box. 2-0. That was the score at half time. They took their foot off the gas in the second half. Gundogan, though, still had an opportunity which he spooned over. Mahrez had a goal disallowed for marginal offside, and Vidra had a shot just up past the iron mark, but that was the extent of Burnley's attacking threat. It was a pretty usual sort of show from City, really. They did all the damage, and in the second half, they just knocked the ball around. Final score then at Burnley, Burnley 0, Manchester City 2. So, Ellen Road, Leeds United at home to Everton. Of course, Leeds had that impressive win at the weekend at the King Power. For Everton, Olsen in for Pickford, but that has become a habit for Ancelotti. And we got going, and 9 minutes it took Everton to take the lead. Dane on the left hit a superb cross, as he usually does. Three Leeds defenders were sort of ball watching. Sigurdsson wasn't, and he ghosted in between them and slotted the ball past Merlier, and that was 1-0. After that, it looked like Leeds were having one of those days, and they certainly were a shadow of the side that we saw at the weekend. Click did have a shot, which Olsen managed to put round the post, and Alioski, he had an effort which grazed the foot of the post. That was on 25 minutes. But just before the break, Calvert-Lewin, who hadn't scored in about 4 games, he managed to latch onto a Godfried flick from a Sigurdsson cross. And Sigurdsson was running the show, really. No James, he was injured. And that was 2-0 to Everton at the break. Well, Leeds improved after the break, and they managed to pull a goal back by Rafinha on 48 after some sloppy defending by Everton. But although Leeds was certainly better, they couldn't overturn the deficit. Got to final whistle, and Ancelotti delighted after that reverse at Newcastle, when he actually commented that he didn't think his team were on the pitch. Here, they've done a good job. Final score then, Leeds 1, Everton 2. Anticipated clash, really, and not a much anticipated clash. Aston Villa and West Ham, both these sides were struggling last season, and Villa only just avoided the drop. But this season, they really have flourished. Team news, El Ghazi was in for Traore for Villa. That was the main change. West Ham, they had their new on-loan signing from Manchester United, Jesse Lingard up front, alongside Antonio. That relegated Fornells to the bench. There was an early opportunity for Antonio. His shot were the goalkeeper Martinez, and then a shot from Lingard a little later, and he was certainly involved from very early into the half. Bearing in mind he hasn't really played any competitive football for a long time. Watkins up the other end, headed over on 22, and in 27 his effort grazed the post. And Suchik had a shot that went wide after a good build-up, but that was goalless at the break. Second half, though, West Ham turned up the burners, and a Suchik strike on 51 hit the corner after good work from Ben Rama and Antonio. And then 56 minutes, Lingard opened his account. A great goal, really, after, a torrid time for the boy. His shot the goalkeeper should have done a little better, but it was still a pretty good effort, and it hit the net, and that was 2-0. And West Ham was certainly in the driving seat. Mings managed to claw an Antonio effort off the line, and Villa were really out of sorts, to be perfectly honest, although 81 minutes they got a goal back through Watkins. Great work from Grealish, as always. But 2 minutes later, Jesse Lingard got his second, and it was a cool finish. And that was about it. Moyes must be absolutely delighted with this new signing from Manchester United. Remember, Jesse Lingard is an England international, and he was very involved in the last World Cup, and he also has had some good moments for Manchester United. But I have a soft spot for him. I think it's a mistake him going down there, but it might do him a power of good. Final score then at Villa Park: Aston Villa 1, West Ham United 3. West Ham into the top 4. Right, final match on the Wednesday fixture list was at Craven Cottage. It was Fulham against Leicester. Saw very brief highlights of this match. And I'm just having a look. Pereira started at right back. He came on as a sub at the weekend. He is their right back, and good to see him back, really. Soyuz was in the heart of the defence. And finally, Iniacho up front for Vardy, with Perez just behind him to assist. And it was Iniacho that got on the score sheet on 17 minutes, heading home a really great cross from James Maddison. Fulham were looking a bit toothless, to be honest. Pretty football, but no cutting edge. And it was no surprise that Justin doubled Leicester's lead on 48 minutes and 2-0 at the break. Into the second half, Cavallero had a strike which went just wide, but Pereira was looking sharp. He had an offside on a finish, but it didn't matter. Impressive rebound by Leicester. They had this game under their control, really, right from the off. They strolled to a 2-0 win. And Fulham basically are just not good enough. And I see them going back into the Championship. So final score then, Fulham 0, Leicester City 2. Leicester back to third in the table. There's one more fixture on Thursday. It's the big clash at White Hart Lane between Mourinho's Spurs and Tuchel's Chelsea. That'll be worth watching. Anyway, that's my lot for this week. I'll be back at the weekend.